from New York. It's a show that finally beat a playoff team. My goodness gracious. The Patriots finally played a playoff team.
Congrats, KW. It's a monumental moment.
It's a good win.
Wow.
It's a good win, and it's like you'll always remember your first.
Playoff win?
Drake May's first playoff win. It's like a real moment.
First everything.
Yeah. That was great. I was legit happy for you.
Thanks, guy. Well, why were you sending sarcastic text?
Well, because you needed a little comeuppance, and you got it. Because Drake May looked like he felt like the game was a little different than normal. Yeah.
He played
shaky for a
bad
half.
for him.
Shaky for a half.
A B minus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
That's about fair.
Yeah, that's right.
About fair.
We're starting with the
really
former
good.
champs. They fall and they are not getting back up. Philly done after, believe it or not, the offense sputters and stalls. Jalen threw for 168, completed fewer 15-yard passes than Juwan Jennings, who does not play quarterback. Great in high school.
Yeah,
4-star.
4-star. Ahead of Burrow and Lamar coming out of high school.
Was he?
Yes.
Yeah. And Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
14 wins.
Yeah.
First 3 drives, I'm like, yeah. Eagles flip the switch. The 49ers defense is very gettable. Saquon's back. 182 total yards.
Yeah.
No punts.
It did look like that.
13 points in the first 3 drives. Rest of the game, 6 points.
Yeah.
125 total yards. 4 punts. Nick, are you surprised the Eagles came up short?
I do not know how anyone who has watched the NFL all year could be surprised by this. They might be disappointed. It might be not what you predicted was going to happen, but not like, I am shocked that a team that for 4 months couldn't score more than 20 points against a playoff team, that for 4 months had a bad passing game, that for 4 months was getting the play in late to where the operation was hurried at the line of scrimmage, and for a couple years has had a real problem with their wide receiver one's combustibility, would play a playoff game where they don't score 20 points, where they get the plays in late, where they have no continuity to the passing game, and where the wide receiver and the head coach, for no reason whatsoever, get into it on the sideline. The Eagles' offense, if I may, we're back with banners, but banners are kind of a Chiefs thing, so if I may, a little homage to the previous defending Super Bowl champs. The Eagles' offense, failing them again, never a doubt. I don't know how anybody could watch how the Eagles season came to an end and be surprised that that's how it came to an end. And I think, Brew, that the biggest reason for optimism about the Eagles in this game was more about pessimism about their opponent's defensive ability.
Yes, that's
it wasn't. I don't think many people thought that, you know what, they're definitively going to flip a switch, playoff mode. It's that maybe they would do that, but even if they didn't do that, the Niners are so banged up and so undermanned that they're not going to be able to slow them down. But as it turns out, no matter how undermanned you are, if the guy calling the defense is Bob Saleh and the guy calling the offense is Kev Patullo, and the guy executing it is what was this year I think a struggling at times Jalen Hurts and a guy who couldn't fix it on his own, you're going to score 13 to 19 points week in, week out, and you got to hope that's enough.
Yeah, they had so many advantages. That's what surprised me.
Oh, wow. Oh, Patriots time already. I apologize. I'm sorry. Oh, wow.
That is unbelievable.
I'm sorry.
We don't.
No.
That's not on the rundown.
We're not going to allow this. This is. What is he doing?
Patriots coverage coming up in about 15 minutes, okay? Right now, back to the Eagles, gentlemen. Thank you very much. 15 minutes to the Patriots. There's going to be a new Super Bowl champ.
Okay.
The Eagles are not going to repeat. Gentlemen, you can play us off again. I apologize to you. Sometimes they go off on their own. Pups, can you grab the door?
Yeah.
Guys, you can take us out. I apologize. We've been interrupting you guys.
I don't think you do.
I apologize.
I don't think you do.
15 minutes.
That was
Coverage of the team of the century.
I didn't know that was
back.
happening.
Patriots are back. But right now, we need to Guys, we need to regroup. We need to regroup and talk about the Eagles. We're on the Eagles
I was
right now.
fully prepared for that to happen as soon as I started talking about the Patriots.
I'm sorry.
But not the Eagles.
Sorry. Back to the Eagles.
But the thing, you're right, it's not shocking. But I said last week, this would be a devastating loss.
It was devastating. I agree with that.
Because the Niners, just the talent level because of the injuries is so much in the favor of the Eagles. They're at home where they were 5-0 under Sirianni. And then with George Kittle going down.
Yeah.
But as you said, it showed that both teams did what they've been doing all year.
Yeah.
The Niners executed tremendously, got creative. The coaching staff maximized their players, and they played with heart and guts, made big plays. The Eagles played a half. Now, obviously, they didn't light it up in the first half. But all year long, they have, in their best games, it's been one really good half and one bad or mediocre half. Starting from day one, the Cowboys, week one, they come out, look great in the first half. Second half, Cowboys end up making it a game. The Rams, the Buccaneers, some of their best wins, that was the case. I did think Jalen would play better, because he's been so good in big moments. But it also came down to this, Nick, and this might be the absolute reason they lost this game. Their stars did not make plays.
Oh, I knew
and
this
the
was
Niners stars did.
Oh, I knew Blue
and
was going to get A.J. Brown.
No, he is a great player. But when you make such a stink about getting the ball, you can't do this.
Yeah.
You can't. I think we have video. You can't drop that. Now, it's not an awesome pass. It didn't hit him right in the numbers or anything. But when you're one of the best receivers in the league and you talk all the time about wanting the football, you can't drop that. Now, if you don't make noise about it, people will overlook it. But you can't drop that, and that's a big moment.
And he had, listen, he
had a few.
Right, that was the worst one.
Yeah.
The one down the sideline would have been a really good catch, but he didn't.
But
that one right there was devastating.
A player of his, not that every player, you always make those, but even you said the tough catches. A player of his, now this one was a little out of reach.
A little short, but still catchable.
I mean, that's a tough one.
He was awful.
Yeah, and again, you can't.
This is the one I was thinking.
Yeah, this is it. Now, a player as good as him, the best receivers in the league, make this catch most of the time.
He makes that catch most of the time. I think that one that we're showing right here, this third down key
that was
drop,
with about 2 minutes left.
And I think that was
the
only target he got after he and Sirianni yelled at each other. Like that, after that happened, he was gone from the game.
That can't happen. Devontae Smith dropped a pass with 48 seconds left.
Devontae again.
It was a little tough too, but again, these are great receivers.
But you feel like that is less objectionable because
he knew he was going to get stuck,
and because he's been a great teammate all year.
Yes, that's why you can
Guys are going to make mistakes. It's if we were on a roll on shows, just doing the thing we do, and I out of nowhere was like, if you don't go to me to start the next show, I'm gonna flip out, and then that would never happen. And then you do, and I freeze up and don't know what to say, and like that. It's worse than if you just do it naturally. And I just don't have my nicotine patch on that.
Is there anything to the fact that guys were dropping balls all weekend? All weekend guys had drops, but now it feels like A.J. Brown's drops were magnified because
of what
Sirianni.
Nick said.
I don't view it as all A.J. Brown, though.
You think Sirianni was yelled at him?
I just feel like Sirianni never got, control's not the right. He never was able to put out the brush fires that were always percolating on the team. Well, and now it got to this magnified moment, and A.J. drops one, and then I feel like he gets in his head, and I think one drop can lead to another. I don't know. I put a lot of it on Sirianni. And I know
over the last few weeks, it wasn't really a lot of noise made about that. I mean, we just remember it from obviously last year, but in the beginning of this season. And then A.J. started putting up numbers even as they were losing, and it kind of went away.
Do you think this was an indictment on Jalen Hurts?
I don't think it was an indictment on Jalen Hurts, but it was this whole season was a step backwards.
Definitely.
And so it doesn't mean he can't, continue on what was a very odd but Hall of Fame trajectory.
Yeah.
But it does mean that some of doesn't matter how it looks, that guy just wins and figures it out. Sheen wears off a bit. Now, but Jalen, to me, had earned a much larger benefit of the doubt than the other main characters involved. I think this is a disaster of a season for Nick Sirianni. And listen.
You think, I don't think he's getting fired.
I do not think he's getting fired.
They need to get a better OC, and then we'll see.
If they did fire him, I would not come on TV and say that's outrageous. And there are 8 jobs open. I do not think he would get one of them.
Well,
I think he'd be in the running.
I think he'd be in the the nervousness about firing your head coach is like, man, you fire John Harbaugh.
Okay,
5 teams is going
to.
You fire Matt LaFleur. 6 is a team might fire their coach to hire him. That I do not believe would happen to Nick Sirianni. And where I think Nick Sirianni deserves blame is Kevin Petullo was his guy. He needed to make the hard decision and move on from him.
And it was never working.
It was never working.
It didn't work from the get-go.
If you weren't going to get your arms around A.J. Brown, then you needed to tell Howie Roseman, we need to trade this guy at the deadline. They now regret that. I'm certain of it.
Well, I think that they should certainly look into trading A.J. this summer. And look, I'm not tripping over the sideline argument. Stuff happens. I mean, I don't think that. I'm serious.
I'm not tripping over.
Happens.
Listen, I didn't trip over.
I don't think it's a big deal.
It didn't happen this weekend.
It happened. You mean with other teams? I'm not saying it happens every game.
I just saw a love fest.
But every time two guys get in an argument,
I mean, I can't kill it
like
because Andy and Travis had an assault on the sideline. But Travis then made big plays and they won. Like sometimes it's that is what it is. Like.
I'm surprised you're giving him a pass on that, bro.
I'm giving Sirianni
I'm just saying,
more of a pass
I don't
than AJ.
automatically know that is they hate each other.
No.
Because of that. I mean, that stuff happens.
That is not a winning culture, though. You can't show me this.
Nick just talked about how it happened with Travis Kelce and
That was a
Andy
one-off.
Reid.
That was a one-off.
Did Tom Brady ever go off on teammates?
Yeah, but Bill Belichick is not Nick Sirianni.
So that's the thing.
No, Brady.
So
Brady went off on teammates.
I know, but Sirianni and your coach, it's just weird leadership.
His issue, Brew, is not with the interaction happening. It's that the head coach initiated it. That part I understand.
Well, now, whether it's true, Sirianni said he was telling him get off the field, just because it was a delay of game or time.
Hey, watch out, we're going to punt. Get off the field.
Here's what we do know, though, Caleb.
Another banner?
Listen. Defending your title is not for everybody. We just know it. Not everyone's. Listen, some teams
Nick,
can make defending their title.
No,
I'm just telling you.
No.
Listen, I'm sorry.
Because the Eagles lost, the Chiefs did not.
What do you mean?
The Chiefs didn't even make the playoffs.
No, it does. Hold on a second. Who's the only team to go back in the last 20 years? Still the Chiefs? Is that record going to stay intact this year? I'm just curious. I'm just saying some teams some teams win a Super Bowl and then either go back and lose or win the next Super Bowl. your Patriots, that's who they were. They would win the Super Bowl, go back the next year, win it or lose it. That's who they were.
But
that's
nobody was mistaking the Eagles for the Chiefs or Hurts for Mahomes or Sirianni. Well, maybe you were.
I don't know.
Sirianni for Andy Reid. What's the next banner?
I don't have any more.
That's for San Francisco. CMC had 2 touchdowns. Purdy threw 2 to Quinyon. Mitchell's not on his team, but did generate enough offense to make it work. Juwan Jennings to CMC there. What was the number one reason, Brew, the 49ers won in your mind?
Well, I'm going to go back to what I said with the Eagles. The Eagles' big names did not play well and make the big plays. We saw some of the drops. And the Niners did. And even some of their non-big names.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Robinson
Chiefs
out
legend,
of nowhere.
Super Bowl champion.
Okay.
Right. He was with the Chiefs. But this dude has played 10 years.
Yeah.
Only 2 times in his career, his 10-year career, had he ever caught more than 100 yards receiving, or 100 yards even receiving. He had 111, I think, yesterday, and obviously got the game off on a great route way for the Niners in his first play where he had
58 yards.
58 yards, several of it yards after catch. So he stepped up, made some other big plays. Christian McCaffrey, only kind of like his season, 15 carries, 48 yards, 3 yards a carry.
Yep.
He was just kind of like the workhorse that breaks them down a little bit, and then had the 2 receiving touchdowns. And the one off the Jawan Jennings throw was a great catch. Some receivers, I'm not saying they
the Willie
couldn't make
Mays
that
style
catch,
almost,
but some receivers may have dropped that ball.
Look at
And
Brock
for a
ready to
running
block
back,
there, too.
and give Jennings credit because he knew he was going to get hammered.
Yeah.
For a
Also, is
non-quarterback,
that roughing the passer?
I know. For the record,
I don't think it was.
What in the world?
I don't blame
I didn't like
Jalen
that
Carter
call.
there because it's like, wait, he's not the quarterback.
How many
I know he's
quarterbacks
throwing
can
the
we
ball.
have?
Right.
No, that's true.
That
right?
would have been like
I can clock this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like CMC
He's running.
It ended
But
up
it's
not
still,
mattering
even if it
because
was
he
a
caught it.
quarterback.
But imagine if that pass is dropped. And
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
15 yards automatic first down. I'd
Yeah.
be livid, but that ended up
Yeah,
not mattering.
so-
But go
You
ahead.
just pretend to pass at any point.
They both step up, and even Jennings, look, we know he was a 4-star quarterback in high school, but still, to throw that ball, he threw a dime, knowing he's about to get nailed. And how about Juszczyk?
Amazing.
Kyle Juszczyk. Like, when Kittle went out, he became one of their main targets, and he made some great catches. But I got to give some credit to Brock Purdy. And I'm like, seriously, I know he threw the 2 picks. He's a gunslinger. He throws in the tight windows. Most of the times it works. Some of the times it doesn't, and that's when he gets his interceptions. But he came back from it, obviously led the game-winning drive. And here's the thing with Purdy, and I said it last week. He's never had he hadn't been great in all of them. He hasn't had a bad playoff game in 7 games. And he's 5-2. In his 5 wins, Nick, 4 of them game-winning drives. And here's the graphic. There's 2 guys with multiple game-winning drives since 2022 when Purdy entered the league.
Pretty good.
Mahomes with 5, Purdy with 4. No one else has even 2. So the dude, you know, and his mobility is a big key too. You saw it yesterday.
Buckle up.
Being able to
Get
run
your
from-
helmets on for this one. You're not going to believe it.
You killing Purdy?
I'm tipping my cap to Purdy.
Oh.
Games like yesterday make me open to changing my mind. What? I'm telling
After,
you.
what is it, 3 years?
Why are you laughing
You're
at
just
me?
3 years,
No,
a Super Bowl
I'm
appearance,
open to it.
4 game-winning drives in the
Guys,
playoffs. You're open to
I'm
it?
open
So
to it.
much so,
I-
I made an even, not better, but a different complimentary
open
Purdy
to it.
graphic. Because what's the knock on Shanahan? You can't, if you are
Down
trailing
in
in
the
the
fourth.
4th, you're dead.
Yeah.
You are dead.
Yeah.
And that to me has always been about he has had civilians, not
quarterback.
superheroes at quarterback. So if it's on script and everything's rolling, but if it's like, man, got a pass situation, what are you going to do? Can't do it. Purdy's been able to do it. So
And
like
yesterday he
so
did it
look,
without
this
any
is-
Avengers,
this-
except McCaffrey.
Under Shanahan, down entering the 4th quarter, all the other quarterbacks are 6-36. Purdy's won 4 games like that. I understand 4-14 looks bad. That's not bad. Like, that is
Right,
the
in that
only Brady and Mahomes in league history are even close to 500 or above. Mahomes is above, Brady's right around it. For trailing entering the 4th quarter.
Out of all the awesome graphics,
No,
though,
but
this is
look at the
least.
bottom. Hold on, look at the bottom.
2 wins.
He now has
done.
2 wins and down 6+. Everyone else is 0-30. Every
Shanahan.
other Shanahan, that's what I'm talking about, Shanahan
Well,
quarterback.
Caleb's
and
like-
so,
Shanahan, that's like you
no,
said, that's
and
been
so
a
that,
knock on
like
him.
yes, he made mistakes, but that guy is fearless, and one of the
Short
reasons he
memory.
throws those picks is because he believes in himself so much, which can be a problem. But because he believes in himself so much, he's like, we're fine. And so I think that plus what is, I think, the greatest coaching season in Shanahan's career.
It's unbelievable.
Is
Yeah,
why
I
they're
agree.
still
I
here.
agree.
We'll see how far they can go.
And look, he's
More on
never,
Kittle.
every time he's made the playoffs, he's gotten
Made
at
the
least in the
conference
conference
championship.
championship.
All right, we got to head to Chicago. Bears with yet another magical comeback. 7th win of the year when they were down with 2 minutes to go or in overtime. Caleb manufactures 25 4th quarter points. Danny Parkins was in the building. Ooh, old classic. What did Caleb prove?
Listen, he's, at the very least, moving forward, he's the best quarterback in that division. and pending if Matt Stafford retires, all think he's the best quarterback in his conference.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he is. Maybe you guys can say that's too far, but I believe
the fourth quarter, yeah.
Listen,
Right,
I believe
last
he's only
5 minutes.
going to get better. And the things he is great at, you can't teach. The things he's shaky at, I think, are the easiest to teach. Yeah. And the things we were worried about, like maturity, leadership, his teammates love him. I thought he gave the single most cogent on-field post-game interview I can remember. It was like 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
Talk.
Yeah.
You know,
we had that ready to go.
Right, but it just showed. I thought his post-game.
You didn't think like the I know it's all plays great because they won, but he looked very frustrated.
I do think he is very emotional. And he can ride that emotional roller coaster. But I think he will improve on that.
Okay.
And it is, to me, he is now on the trajectory of what his trajectory was when he was drafted. Generational #1 pick. Because this play on 4th and 8, Brew, it might be the single, it is in the running for best, given the context of it. If he doesn't hit the throw, they lose the playoff game. They ended up winning it. The difficulty of it, all of it, it's as good of a throw as a player's made since I've been doing this show.
It's a great throw. And to drop it in there, between 3
it's impossible.
Packers.
Yeah.
And so I am, and their ability to be down double digits, it's a dangerous way to do business.
Often.
But they're 3-3 now, down 10 in the final 5 minutes of a game.
Yeah.
The rest of the league is 3-159. And so that's some Caleb.
That's an incredible number.
That's some.
It's not all him, but it's
no. You don't.
He takes advantage of the opportunities.
It's a dangerous way to do business, but he's so remarkably gifted, and he's learning how to do the other stuff. Like they don't have the process errors anymore, the pre-snap stuff. Right. They cleaned it up. He's still inaccurate.
He's very inaccurate and misses some. Like he only completed 50% of his passes. Some of his throws you like, but he is dynamic. Mm-hmm. And this is a huge compliment for me. Late in that game, I felt a feeling like it's generally been reserved for Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Like when it was late, I felt like, man, they're about to score.
Yep.
They're about to score. And I think you can argue, Nick, and this is why I wouldn't say he's definitely the best quarterback in the division yet, because I think Jordan Love was fantastic with the 4 touchdowns.
He was great.
Almost 300 yards. And even though I think it's arguable who will be better next year, we'll see. Certainly, Caleb is more dynamic and his ceiling is higher. But Jordan has played great this year and was great yesterday or over the weekend. But I didn't feel that way with him having that ball in that last drive. It's not all Jalen, but I didn't feel like I didn't think they were going to score. Mm-mm. And maybe they will, and we'll see. And I'm hoping, because that was my team, my pick in the preseason. But Caleb, I felt like they're scoring. And so he is clutch. And that is something, whether it's basketball, we've seen Reggie Miller, Robert Ory, in football, Mahomes, like some guys just have that. And he obviously has it. And Nick, if he does, which you would think he will, because of the great improvement he's made this year, if he loves Ben Johnson. We saw in the locker room, he praised Ben Johnson for what he's done for him. If he just can nail down the little things, then Patrick Mahomes, that type of player, I'm not going to put him on Mahomes level, but that you always said 2.0, that type of player, he looks like
the stuff he's great at cannot be taught.
He's best at the tough throws. Yeah, he throws a cannon, and that's why.
Flick of the wrist that has the power of anybody's throw. The only downside to this is you guys don't know what a generationally bad winner Danny Parkins can be. He has no experience with team success. He was out here. Let's see.
Danny, you're on it.
Danny, you're on it 5. Your show's in 90 minutes.
You're on it 5.
Not even looking at the camera. This guy on Cowherd's show today, he's feeling himself so much.
Chicago
said
Bears.
He thinks the Pope watches his clips.
The Pope?
That's what he said. This is what he said. That's how he's feeling himself.
Pope Leo is Pope Bob from the South Side. He went to the World Series for the White Sox, so it stands to reason.
Danny's clips.
Then he was listening to my highly rated show on The Score back in the day. Brew, by the way, Chicago says, what up?
Chicago,
Yeah.
great win.
I mean, this guy's wearing sunglasses inside and at night.
Sunglasses
You said never a doubt, which is a Chiefs thing.
Have you seen the Blues Brothers? It's dark and we're wearing sunglasses. We're on a mission from God. We got the Pope on our side. And by the way, is there a clicker for me?
Yes, it's over here.
It's over here. They told me to come
out here with no plan.
I got a banner. I got a little something for you.
It, you dope.
All right, well, sorry. I thought it was going to be over here. He played, okay? Here's the thing. Greatness. You compared him to Mahomes, Reggie Miller.
That felt the Reggie stuff.
No, but I was playing off of Nick saying
I understand, but
he's not Mahomes.
In the history of basketball, who do you want taking a shot late? A GOAT.
MJ.
What is this one?
Caleb,
Trio
his
of
airness,
Chicago goats.
and a trio of Chicago goats. Because I told you so. What did Caleb prove? That I was right.
This guy. Buddy,
A GOAT.
Buddy, roll the animation. That's
A Chicago goat,
Get
baby.
out of here.
Caleb, Mike, and me.
That's too
That's a
far.
good picture, Taylor.
That's far.
That's what I said.
I didn't go far enough.
far.
I didn't go far enough. Bear down, baby.
Fun fact. Did you know
gonna
that
be
the
tight.
Patriots have only beaten 3 playoff teams? My goodness. The third being the Chargers last night, who some people said they wanted the Patriots. Oh, okay. I wanted you to score more than 3 points. Poor Drake didn't look like his MVP self. My goodness gracious. Still had 340 total yards, dominated. Dominated probably a little much. Regardless. I agree it was fun. I do not think you should keep trying to throw the ball when guys are grabbing your jersey. First half, not great.
Yeah.
I started to get some mean tweets. Kept my cool, kept my composure. Second half, passer rating shot up to 142. He didn't run the ball as much, but he had some back-breaking plays. Greg, question to you. Is it time to admit the Patriots are a scary squad? Because a long time we weren't getting any respect, the schedule.
Yeah,
you know?
I was giving the team respect. Look, they're a scary team.
Thank you, Greg. That was good, though. I agree with that. That was good.
Sorry,
not-
this thing on Sports TV.
I'm not
You gotta
following
stop
it
answering. You gotta just let him do his thing.
You did it to me.
What?
You pointed. Go to Greg.
I didn't know he was gonna
He
do
got
it.
me early.
Sorry, Greg, you have always supported Drake May, so I appreciate it. We're on the doorstep of destiny, fellas. Welcome back. Greg,
No.
as you were.
Look, they've been a scary team. I think the number one thing you talked about, we looked at their schedule and who they didn't play and the teams that they weren't on their schedule and that they didn't have an opportunity to play, and we measured them according to that. The reality is, in that locker room, they believe that they have one of the best teams in football. And so regardless of who was going to be coming in this weekend, they felt like they had a great chance because of the guy under center. We see the numbers to support what he was in the first half, second half. I absolutely loved what we saw.
Ooh.
Him actually showing a little bit of adverse situation. It got a little shaky, a little, oh my gosh, is Drake going to actually be bad? And then he overcame
Couldn't believe
it. The
it.
defense, something that you've alluded to, in the red zone. How about this, Wiles?
I was shocked.
Gave up nothing.
I don't know what happened.
It was the opposite of what you
It
guys
was
did.
the absolute
We are not good in the
opposite.
red zone, and we are not good getting to the quarterback.
It
Great
was-
in the red zone, great at getting to
It
the
was
quarterback.
it was a phenomenal game to watch. This was a team that came out almost as if Vrabel leaned into the fact that, guys, this is what's being said about us. We got to go and prove that this is not the case, that we are not good enough because of who we've played. And this is a team that set their starters, set their quarterback, and acted like we want you.
Loved it.
We can beat you. And so let's go and show them that this is not what they want. And they did that.
So listen, I agree with the vast majority of that because there were 2 teams this weekend whose star quarterbacks played poorly by their standards and they won anyway. And that makes those teams scarier.
Yeah.
The Rams and the Pats, to me. Unless you think that's who those quarterbacks are going to be the rest of the playoffs, you're like, it's a bad game, or in May's case, butterflies, whatever it was, because I disagree with you guys a bit about, in the second half you fixed it. Because they're up 13 and the game's over unless you turn the ball over, and Drake fumbled again.
Yeah.
And it could have just, the only thing that could have got the Chargers back in the game was a scoop score, and it was right there, and you guys fell on it. Like, it was and we can show Drake's numbers compared to his season averages, what Brew and I were a little worried about. That he would have one of, if not his worst game of the season to start the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's now like, okay, that's who he's going to be next week. I think it was first playoff game jitters, all those things, and you guys won anyway.
Yeah.
Which makes your team scarier. So that's a long way of saying Brew and I were right and you were wrong. But it makes your team more dangerous, in my opinion.
I'll take that.
Look, I'm with Greg. I liked what I saw from Drake May. And he did have to fight through adversity, struggled a bit early. That's good for him. I think that, especially when you win, and his running, and we all knew he could run. You had the Michael Vick graphics and all that last year.
Oh, yeah.
But he
And
ran, when he wasn't passing it well, he ran the ball well. And then, of course, he makes throws the dime to Hunter Henry to seal the game. But I thought he learned a lot just over the course of the game. Now, look, I agree with you guys. The pressure, they sacked Herbert 6 times. They obviously were tough in the red zone. I'm definitely going to give them credit for that, and certainly they're dangerous. You look at the field, if you won this weekend in the AFC, you're dangerous.
Yes.
I mean, the Bills, a lot of people, even though the Patriots are favorite, might think the Bills, but they beat the Bills. They're 1-1 with the Bills, and the game is in Foxborough. And then the other two teams, you got questions about the quarterbacking.
And
all the three
offenses.
teams. Yeah, and the offense, Pittsburgh, Houston, Denver. Yeah. The question is, can they score? Now, I do think I did not like some of the play calling by the Chargers in the red zone. I mean, they want to turn Justin Herbert into a running back. Like it was, so some of
they
it
had him running the
was
Trey
on
Lance
them.
package.
Yeah, some of it was on them, but still, you guys deserve credit, and it was impressive.
That was a career high for Drake running. 10 rushes,
Was
career
that?
high, 66 yards.
That was his career
high. Greg, I want to give you as a Super Bowl champion, and I am flag football champion, so a little champion to champion talk. I want to get a vibe check on something that hit my radar. We saw everybody's, post-game quarterback interviews, one-on-one with the quarterback, how'd you do, this and that. I want to show you the picture of the Patriots post-game. This is a 6-person post-game interview from Mike Reese. For those who watch the NBC on-field interview, Drake May, Hunter Henry, Chase On, and Waynu, Garrett Bradbury, Morgan Moses were there due to May's request. Won the entire O-line there, but Will Campbell and Jared Wilson had
What's up
departed
with Will
quickly.
Campbell and Jared Wilson? They don't mess with it?
No, they had to.
You look at that both ways.
So, look, between that, Mike Vrabel bleeding, the end of the game, there just seems, granted they're my team, so I think it's a special team.
Yeah.
But is there anything hitting your vibes meter of like, wow, this team really supports each other and loves
Look, they
each other?
obviously are supporting each other. It doesn't hit my meter. I think it's a good sign that he's understanding that it's not just about him. It's about us as the collective. And if he continues to do that, which he needed his team. He alluded to that in this post game. Mm-hmm. Like, he needed the team to step up because he wasn't at his absolute best. But it's a good sign. You can love it. I don't read too deep into it.
It's okay. You can just tell him.
No, I'm high on this team.
Like,
Some OKC vibes.
I know.
I'm
they do
surprised
last
you didn't. Yeah, they.
Gentlemen, do you mind playing us off again, please? Thank you. Watch out, Nick.
I'm fine.
Let me just lay out for a while. Welcome back. As for the Chargers, they rested last week. They wanted to head to New England. Didn't work out. Herbert got sacked 6 times, lost a fumble, managed 207 total yards of offense, and that included a fumble that turned into a first down. Fun. Fair to put this loss on Herbert.
Yeah. It's 10 straight quarters of F- quarterback play in the playoffs by Justin Herbert. This is what it is. I mean, the first good news, well, I guess second good news after Harbaugh getting fired for Lamar in the last couple months. He's no longer the face of shaky playoff quarterbacking from a quarterback that in Lamar's case we know is great.
It's far better than
It's
Herbert.
exactly right. But like if people talk about like playoff shrink, alleged superstar quarterback Lamar, it's not alleged. If Lamar had been the face of it for a lot of people, he's not. And again, this can change, but The fact that it can change in the future doesn't mean it's not a reality right now. Right now, here's where Justin Herbert is in NFL history amongst quarterbacks with at least 3 playoff starts in passer rating. Dalton's the worst, then Herbert, Brad Johnson, Carson Palmer, Rex Grossman. Palmer at least had one good run late in his career, which again is to say it can happen. And when I asked for this graphic, I didn't know Andy Dalton. It was going to be Dalton Herbert 1-2. But we have said for a long time, we're talking about Mahomes and Allen and Lamar, like who's Brady, who's Manning, who's Big Ben of this era. Somebody's also got to be Andy Dalton. And this might sound outrageous because Herbert's 6'6" and has a rocket arm. Here's Andy Dalton and Justin Herbert through 6 years. Now, Herbert's better, but he has a worse record. Same in the playoffs. Team points per game, same. Yards per game goes to Herbert. Yards per pass, Dalton. Again, Herbert is better. But the way it is discussed, he is not discussed like he is a rich man's Andy Dalton until the playoffs when he is just Andy Dalton. And I understand it is always someone else's fault, and the offensive line, particularly in the fourth quarter, was a train wreck. But the flip side to that is this. Literally, no quarterback in NFL history has had their defense force more takeaways in a 3-game playoff losing streak than Justin Herbert has in his. In the last quarter century, no quarterback has lost 3 straight playoff games with their defense forcing 5 turnovers, other than Chad Pennington. Herbert's has forced 10. That's the most in the last.
Of course, Trevor gave him a lot.
Okay, well, whatever it is. I'm saying extra possessions. But still, extra possessions.
I'm joking.
And if we took it to the entirety of NFL history, Herbert's number 1 as well. Number 2, Brew, I didn't do it because I want to do it to your guy. Burt Jones with 9. That Burt Jones fella just showed up a lot of these Justin Herbert playoff.
I know
Burt Jones was an MVP,
but like
I believe.
you have to. You're at the, I think the 8-yard line when Drake gave you the ball.
Yeah,
like you have to score there.
And so I am, again, like Greg, I am not saying he is the biggest problem with the team, but he is the superstar who is the reason people believe in the team. Yeah. And for 3 straight playoff games, at least 2.5, straight, he has been totally unproductive. I don't know what else you can say about it.
Yeah, look, you make a strong argument, and those are facts. The reality for the Chargers and our organization is we have Justin Herbert. We believe Justin Herbert is good enough for us to overcome some of the things that we are not going to have, some of the weaknesses, some of our voids. And that's just not been the case in the postseason. Watching that game yesterday, it is very difficult for me to sit here and put it all on Justin Herbert. Knowing what I, as a receiver, and forget the offensive line. We know the offensive line. Mm-hmm. From a receiving standpoint, tell me a guy that was creating any form of separation yesterday.
I was shocked that we had it.
It was unreal. And you cannot do that to your quarterback. I'm not going to give anybody a pass, but Keenan Allen, a little longer in the tooth. Okay, that acceptable if you want to say that.
Drop.
Lad McConkey, no, exactly, the drops. Lad McConkey, no separation, it was poor. Quentin Johnson, where was he?
But here's can I just run that real quick? There was, and I should have him pull the tape. On one of the Herbert scrambles to the right, McConkey is open by a 20-yard radius around him, and at that point they are down 6-3. I understand it'd be one thing if this was a tie or a 3-point or a 6-point game for 2.5 hours before the offensive line totally broke down. You needed your superstar to make one play, including a drive that started inside the 10, and that's like you got to make one play.
I understand that, but we're asking, and again, I'm not a Justin Herbert apologist. Like, he is not exempt.
That's 5 o'clock hour.
He is not exempt. However, he has to be perfect for this team to have success in the postseason. Yesterday, like it was clear because we can point the finger and we can place blame on the play calling. We can place blame on Justin Herbert. We can place blame on the offensive line after they kind of started to break down. We definitely can place blame on the running game and the receiving. To place blame on Justin Herbert is easy to do because he is their best player. And I'm not saying he is not one to own some of that. But to say he has to overcome it all, it's with that team, knowing what that defense is going to look like against a backup offensive line. Like, look, man, if I get a second or third string defender across from me, you know how I'm going to feel?
Uh-oh.
Let's go.
Yeah, and a lot of he got sacked
Fired
6
me up,
times.
right?
And you're right. They protected him fairly well early on. But the sacks, when they started coming in the bunches, those weren't like quarterback. You know, it wasn't his fault. It was the rush and then coverage sacks. I like Ladd McConkey a lot. I felt like, where is he today? Like, I haven't heard his name said once. You know, like they really locked him down. I agree. The receivers could not create separation. But here's what I'll say about Herbert. He's not elite. We have to stop, and I don't think you put him in that category right now, but a lot of people view him as elite. Like, we won't put him in the top 4 with those guys, Lamar and Mahomes, et cetera, but he's right after them. We can't put him there right now.
He's falling out of fluid for you?
Well, he's trying to be funny, but from 5, 6 to I guess he's in the bottom. Now he can get there, but right now with the way he's performing, he's
out.
I'm like, great. I'm not an apologist like Danny for him, but I do like him. I think he's got great talent. But he looks different in the playoffs. He looked different yesterday.
Yes.
I don't think he looked like he was scared, but he just looked like a different quarterback.
We all knew their offensive line was banged up. If we had told you the Patriots were going to have 2 turnovers and 9 points through 3 quarters, you'd be like, sounds great.
Should be enough.
For the Chargers.
Yeah.
And by the way, 3 of those
16
points were because Herbert gave him an extra possession at the end of the half.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.